of you, but it's nice to be invited to be here. And I hate to see Gary go. He's a wonderful guy. I lived up at the beach about 3 miles, and when Gary arrived here at Linwood Center, he became part of the Linwood Center gang. And there was myself, and Bob McCormick, and Wenzel Christensen, and Lori Blossom, and Nikki Blossom, and Hannah's, and oh God, I don't know, a whole bunch of us. And they're all somehow related, Churchill relations to Edna and Daniel Olson, who lived in this house. And Edna went down to the state mental hospital at Stilton and hired a lady who was safe enough to be on the outside, I guess. She brought her here as a maid and as a cook. And so we were all 14, 15 years old, and I don't know, it changed a little bit, but sitting around the corner in here, eating peanut butter jelly sandwiches, and this gal was cooking for us, and we were ordering, we thought it was paradise. It was paradise, I guess. And we sure had some great times together with Ed. Okay, can you hear better? Yep. So Edna went over to Chase and Sulphur's Motors right here across the street, and in the 50s had bought a Plymouth station wagon. I think the thing was about 40 feet long. She'd pile all those kids in the back, and we go down the Columbia River to where Manuel had relatives and picked blueberries. And on the hillsides on the south side of Mount Adams and Mount St. Helens. And so while they were picking blueberries, which we thought was boring as hell, and it was, we would go spelunking. There was all kinds of caves and cheese caves and stuff underneath the ground there. And we'd get a ball of string, and Mickey'd go one way, and Maury'd go another way. And we thought we'd gone a mile or two, and we'd pop up out of a hole, and we'd find out we'd gone about 40 feet. We had a lot of experiences, a lot of good times, and a lot of growing up in the back of that station wagon. Maury and Gary and I took a road trip, and I think it was just after we turned 16. And for those of you that are still smokers, Helen gave me a $5 bill. And she worked at the post office at the time for 92 cents an hour. She gave me a $5 bill. She said, when you get to Portland, give me 2 cartons of cigarettes and bring me my change. A carton of cigarettes was $2.25 those days. Now I suppose it's about 80 bucks or so. So Gary got a job in the post office, and he was had a delivery route right on the south side of Queen Anne Hill when the World's Fair took place, actually in 1962 in Seattle. And I had worked for a guy that we had a Simon barbecue restaurant on Joe Street in the World's Fair. And Gary, with the Postal Service van, a 3-wheeler, could go through the gates with no pass. We couldn't stop it. So occasionally, we were broke or something, we saw our friends meet Gary in the corner over there. They'll give you a ride in. I don't think the Postal Service appreciated that. But next to it, we were on the kind of you got to remember this is 1962. We were kind of on the nightlife area of the World's Fairgrounds. And Gracie Hansen had a burlesque show down there, which was tremendously risque, even though the women still had clothes on. And there was 2 guys named Sid and Marty Croft, who later became famous for their shows with the Muppets and all the kids shows. And they had a puppet show that had a sex scene in the puppet show. Believe it or not, that was a big deal. People lined up to see it. But Sid was dating a woman named Krista Speck. And Krista Speck had been Polish, she was an actress for Polio, actress for Poland. And she was the Playmate of the Month, and then became Playmate of the Year. Now, we were both 19 or 20 years old. And she would come in the restaurant and have coffee in the morning. And boy, that livened up the morning for us. Harry come flying by in his three-wheeler, and he looked at me, his mouth, is she here? If I went like this, boy, that thing would there was deliveries needing to be made right there. And he would come in, and we were all gawking at this poor girl. She later married Sid, and they had a nice family down in Los Angeles. So I was living on 10th Avenue West. And I was the end of the route. And so when Gary, those were the days of free samples in the mail. And he'd get a tube of toothpaste or something. And but when he got to the end of the route, anything left over, Gary would leave on my porch. And I'd have guests at the house. And say, hey Ralph, do you have any of that new roll-on deodorant? I say, yeah, there's 252 people. Toothpaste, there's 125. We talked about those three samples and all of that. I was a benefactor. Gary was a great friend, a great guy. I should mention that all his cute sisters and family, his mother and father, they were just, they all helped raise us and raise us right. Didn't want to mess with Lucille, I'll tell you that. Glenn was behind the scenes, backing things up, and the Linwood Theater was our center of activities. So we had a lot of fun here, and I love this guy. So I know it's been a lot closer to a lot of you these last 3 years than he has to me, but we've sure had fun together. So thank you.